I am your host. It is me. Here I am. Don't you guys worry. I am Zeb Media. Appreciate you guys for tuning in today to the official kickoff stream of In the Zone with Zeb. Let's just take a second, guys, and be happy that we are here. This has been a long time coming. For you guys know this, and I couldn't be more pumped to be here to bring this to you guys, man. I'm super excited. I see we got the chat showing out already. Appreciate you guys as I'm getting these last few things set up here. We got to get our slides in here, right? But we have a lot to talk about today as it is the kickoff episode. We are officially heading into the NFL season. Tomorrow is the first NFL game. We are in the middle of baseball season. We have a big fight coming up this weekend. There is so much stuff going on this weekend, guys. It's crazy. It is crazy. So let's go ahead and kill the music. And like I said, real quick, man, can we get up? Let's go, man. We are officially in the zone. I hope you guys are ready to get in the zone because I'm officially in my zone, as my man Kanye would say. This is the first official kickoff stream, so I appreciate you guys kind of maybe bearing with me here, as I get started here and work out the kinks to get things going. I see a lot of people in the chat. All my boys are in the chat. Shout out to everybody. Ali Cat Bierko's in the chat. We have a question there. I'm going to start that for you guys, just so you know, as we go and progress through the show, if there are any topics or questions that come up that you really want to get to, make sure you go ahead and put a Q next to that. Or I kind of want to start something cool and newer and put a Z next to it, like for in the zone or with Zeb. Either one will work. Put a Z and then your question, or put a Q and then put your question or your topic that you want to talk about. That way I can kind of keep it in my little tab, and I can make sure that we get to that no matter what direction we kind of get this ship going into. Like I said, appreciate you guys coming out for the kickoff episode. This is the first, definitely the first of many. This is a long time coming, so I say with all the stuff we have to talk about, we go ahead and get right into it. Are you ready? That is right. Like I said, NFL season is upon us. Y'all see who I'm repping. You already know what it is. I'll go ahead and let the people that maybe don't know me or are going to watch this on the replay get to know me a little bit. It is obvious. I am a Baltimore Ravens fan. I am a Baltimore Orioles fan. I cover all Baltimore sports teams. I come from right outside the Baltimore area. I'm a college student pursuing a degree in sports broadcasting. So this is only going to help me get better here, help me, build my fan base, get to talk to you guys about what's going on in the sports world. You know what I'm saying? A lot of my friends are here in the chat, so I get to hang out with a lot of cool people on Wednesday nights now. We will be here every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. If you guys can share the stream out, hit the thumbs up on your way in, I would definitely appreciate that. Not obliged, but definitely appreciate it. See, we have another question there. We'll talk about that as well as we start to break things down here. I guess we will start out with something no one's really talking about in the chat yet, but something I kind of want to go ahead and talk about first, because I know a lot of you guys are probably going to want to talk about football because it's kickoff week. I know we're all super excited for that. But before we get into football, before we get to the Baltimore sports and all that stuff, as I said, I am a man that is a fan of many sports. That is what this channel will cover. We will cover football. We will cover baseball. We will cover MMA. We will cover boxing. We will cover racing. We'll cover basketball. We can do golf. We can do hockey. We can do anything we want to do here because it's my channel. And that's exactly what we're going to do. And I can't wait to see what you guys have to say about all these different things that are going on in the sports world, a lot of the breaking news that is happening in the sports world. It'll be cool to kind of give, my thoughts to you guys on my own platform now. I know a few of you guys are familiar with me from previously being on the Bearded Pack. Shout out to my brothers over there, all love. And now I am officially in the zone, unleashing the energy, letting it go. So I guess that's a good little synopsis. I'm sure you guys will kind of get to know me more as this channel grows and as these lives get older and older. But let's go ahead and dive into UFC talk. Are you ready? I want to talk about UFC 279. It is coming up this weekend. It is this Saturday night, and it is a barn burner. I'm telling you guys, this one's going to be crazy. So as you see here, we have all of the fights that are going to be on this Saturday. UFC 279, Khamzat Chimaev versus Nate Diaz. This is going to be an interesting fight. A lot of people, speculating that the UFC is trying to get Nate Diaz to fight Khamzat Chimaev to kind of be his last fight on his way out. This is the last fight on Nate Diaz's contract. Will he sign for more? We don't know yet, especially after an interesting interview with Brett Okamoto of ESPN. Nate Diaz kind of left the door open a little bit for us to, speculate on what his future is going to be after this fight. So I'm really excited about that. Shout out to my boy Healthy Bearded down there, Jay Cruz. If you guys saw the intro, my man actually made that intro for me with the countdown of all of the athletes and stuff. So if you guys need anything like that, check him out. And I will be with him this weekend with Alley Cat Beer Co. down in Pittsburgh, which will be pretty cool. So like I said, Khamzat Chimaev comes into this fight 11-0 versus Nate Diaz, who is 21-13. Some people will call him a journeyman at this point, but Nate Diaz is a legend of the sport, as we all know. A guy that's known for being as tough as nails and really won't take any crap from anybody in the UFC. Doesn't matter who it is. He will slug it out with you, and he is not going to give up. You will not tap this guy out. You're not going to really knock him out either. The only way you're going to stop this guy is if it's a doctor stoppage. So he is a real savage. But as we look at the odds of the fight, Khamzat Chimaev, the number 3 ranked welterweight, by the way, number 3 ranked welterweight, comes in as a minus 1,000 underdog. A minus 1,000 underdog. Easy fight for Khamzat, some people are saying down there. My boy Roger Sports Talk is calling it a round 2 stoppage. Okay. Hey, shout out. That's one of my man Ryan from the Bearded Pack, bro. Appreciate you, bro. Definitely going to be I don't see this fight getting finished, if I'm going to be honest with you guys, although Khamzat Chimaev is a dog and he is a minus 1,000 underdog. Nate Diaz comes in at plus 630, and like I said, he doesn't give up easy. He doesn't get knocked out. The only way Khamzat's going to stop this fight is if it's a doctor stoppage, which Nate has fought through some pretty bloody, cuts and incidents before. So if I had to give my prediction, main event, I'm going to go Khamzat Chimaev by decision. And then in the co-main, we have number 14 ranked welterweight Li Jingliang going against the number 11 ranked Tony Ferguson, which this is also an interesting bout because if you guys know Tony Ferguson, another legend of the sport, he typically fights at oh my gosh, I can't believe I can't think of it. Not middleweight, because middleweight is 185. I'm sure somebody in the chat will. Well, he fights at 155. I'm sorry, I can't think of the exact weight class. It's 155. It might be no, featherweight's 135. Anyway, Tony Ferguson going up a weight class for this fight, so it's kind of interesting. He does come in as the plus 235 underdog against Li Jingliang minus 295. Tony Ferguson obviously has lost a few of his last fights, a few of them in pretty disappointing fashion, I may say. I think it's going to be interesting to see Tony bump up to 170. I don't know how he's going to look there, though. This is a hard fight to call. I'm going to go and ride with the safe bet, though. Li Jingliang, lightweight. Thank you, Rogers. Li Jingliang, I'll take him by. This is a hard one too, man. Having to pick a finish or not on this. Tony has been getting finished. I hate to say that I'm thinking he's going to get finished again, but I kind of do. Give me Li Jingliang by TKO. As we run through the rest of these, Kevin Holland, aka Big Mouth, a fan favorite, comes in 23-7, won no contest, versus Daniel Rodriguez, who is 16-2. A guy that a lot of people might be sleeping on here. This fight will be at a catchweight bout of 180. Normally, these guys are at welterweight, but according to Kevin Holland, somebody couldn't make weight, and it was not him. So, Kevin Holland comes in as the minus 196 underdog. Daniel Rodriguez is a good dog to take at plus 158. Although I think Kevin Holland can edge this one out. That's definitely going to be a good scrap, one that I could see going all the way. Number 4, Irene Aldana comes in at 13-6 versus number 10, Macy Chiasson at 9-2. Irene Aldana, the minus 186 underdog, probably going to actually ride with Macy here at plus 144. She comes in at 9-2. She is the bigger fighter. Technically, this fight is at 145, I believe. And Macy comes in with the height and the reach advantage. See by exactly how much. So 5'9" to 5'11", so it's a few inches there, and a 72-inch reach for Macy to a 68.5 reach for Aldana. Aldana, a very tough fight, so this is. A lot of these are hard to call, but if you want to underdog, ride with Macy. Why not? Shout out to my man Dan C. Appreciate you coming in, man. Definitely pumped for this card as well. It's definitely going to be a good one. So next fight on the main card, first fight on the main card actually, is number 13, Johnny Walker, a guy that a lot of people had high hopes for coming into the UFC. Still, kind of in the rankings, still relevant, maybe not panned out exactly how some people thought. But he comes in as the plus 152 underdog against Ion Cutelaba, who comes in at 16-7-1. Ion, scrappy guy, likes to kind of get in there, get reckless, and throw the punches. I think I like Johnny as a good underdog here too, if I'm going to be honest with you guys. Ion Cutelaba, like I said, kind of goes in, likes to throw, sometimes leaves that chin out there. This is a fight that either way, somebody I think it could finish this. I think this ends in knockout or TKO for one of these fighters. But Johnny Walker looks like a good underdog to take. Comes out in dramatic fashion if the fight happens. Nate does not want to fight, and I don't blame him. Yeah, if you guys, that kind of brings up a good point. You watch a lot of the interviews of the Diaz brothers lately. They kind of seem to be just doing this because they have to do it almost. Like this is just their paycheck. Nate is a very hard guy to read, though. It's no matter. I'll tell you this: no matter what's going on with Nate Diaz, it's a guy that doesn't quit and will never throw in the towel, and he's a tough fight for anybody in the UFC. Do I think he wins this fight? No, but I do not think he gets finished. I think they go all the way, and I think Khamzat does win handedly, though. Patty the Batty. The people are wondering when Patty's next fight is. So I know Patty just fought pretty recently. They haven't really discussed who his next fight is going to be. He's kind of dropped a hint that he wants to fight after UFC 281, maybe. I know he wants to get at least another fight in before the end of the year. Excuse me. He definitely wants one more fight in before the end of the year, so definitely we'll see him before 2023. And just run through the prelims real quick. Hakeem Dawodu, 13-2-1, comes in against Julian Erosa, who's 27-10, has a lot of fights under his belt. He is the underdog, though. Number 14 ranked Jailton Almeida, 16-2 versus Anton Turkalj, who only has one UFC fight. So he comes in as the plus 500 underdog. All these odds are courtesy of FanDuel Sportsbook. So if you're looking for a big underdog, Anton Turkalj, a guy that you could look at. Guys like that, it's always hard to call because, they're coming in, they're fresh to the UFC. Not too many people have seen a lot of their fights. So those are those fights that do go either way, and you can end up getting a good payout on one of those. My man Dan C calls a finish in 2. Hey, if it happens, I'll be hitting you up, Dan. I'll text you after the fight. Patty is straight entertainment. Yeah. Then we have Dennis. This is a whole. I really don't want to butcher anyone's names here, so we'll just go. Dennis T comes in at 10-6 versus Jamie Pickett, who is 13-7. Dennis, the plus 108 underdog. Jake Collier. This is a fun fight right here for you guys. I really want to highlight this. Jake Collier, 13-7 versus Chris Barnett, 22-8. And from my man Ryan in the comments, that will be coming soon. Just for you guys, future reference, this show does start at 7 p.m. Eastern every week, every Wednesday. We may go an hour, we may go 2. The plan is definitely to be out of here by like 9 o'clock every night, though. So between 1 and 2 hours, depending on what we have to talk about. Jake Collier versus Chris Barnett, though. For you guys that don't know, Chris Barnett is the more heavyweight fighter. Kind of a little bit of a excuse me. Comes in a bit heavy set, but super nimble on his feet, super agile and athletic. This guy throws head kicks. This guy does like spinning dances on the floor and splits and stuff. This guy is very entertaining. Do not miss that fight on the prelims. Jake Collier versus Chris Barnett. Those guys will be swinging, and I like Chris Barnett at plus 280. The people are talking about Conor. Hey, you can't talk UFC if someone doesn't bring Conor up, right? Yep, Claressa Shields is definitely fighting this weekend. So then we look at number 15, another ranked fighter in the women's featherweight weight class. Excuse me. Just getting sick, actually. But I feel good now. I feel great, actually. Just a little congested. So Norma Dermott comes in as the minus 400 favorite, 7-2 versus Danielle Wolf, who this is her second UFC professional fight at plus 285. Tough fight for Wolf. Good underdog odds there, though. If you want to take a shot on the newcomer, there is good underdog odds there. We look at Chad Anheliger, 12-5 versus Alaten. I'm sorry to any fighters whose names I butcher. Versus Alaten Gaheli, who is 15-8-2. Anheliger comes in at the plus 140 underdog to the minus 180 favorite. Melissa Martinez. This is a UFC debut. And she comes in as the favorite, excuse me. To come in as the favorite for your UFC debut is pretty interesting. So she's minus 178 versus Elise Reed, who is 5-2 and sits at plus 138. So interesting odds there. Just interesting odds there for me. Like I said, the UFC debut coming in at a minus 178 favorite. Anyway, Darian Weeks, who is 5-2, comes in to lead off the prelims versus Johan Lainez, who is 8-1 and is actually the underdog in this fight. So if you're looking for another good underdog, go ahead and look at Johan. He comes in at plus 114 against Weeks, who is minus 146. So a lot of good fights coming on this weekend. A lot to be excited about. Let me go ahead and go through the chat, make sure I didn't miss anything that you guys were talking about in the UFC here. Claressa Shields fight this weekend. Definitely going to be an interesting one. Definitely excited to see that. Connor's coming back. Connor versus Patty. Oof. They are the same weight, which is funny. 155, actually. And I don't think we'll ever get that fight, the Conor Khabib rematch. I think that is a one and done, unfortunately. But like I said, a lot to look forward to. UFC 279. Can't wait to see how this pans out and see what the future holds for Nate Diaz. Like I said, a guy that we have loved watching for many years. So no matter what happens, whether he continues to fight in the UFC, fight elsewhere, or not fight at all, appreciate you, Nate Diaz, for all that you have done for us UFC fans. Very entertaining to watch. So, now that we have UFC knocked out of the way, get that? Knocked out. Anyway, yes, sir. Go Ravens. We're going to be talking about them here very soon. But before I talk about my Baltimore Ravens, how about them Orioles? How about the Moes? 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 Hey, let's go, O's. Let's go, O's. I know y'all were doubting us. I know y'all were hating on us. Look at us now, baby. We are right out of a wild card spot. We're right there. Hey, the Baltimore sports scene is bright. It's shining. We love it here. We love it. We love it here. The Orioles right now are hot. And I'll tell you this, they're so hot that if they were in the AL Central, they would be leading the division. But no, we're in the AL East, which is the hardest division in baseball, or at least one of them. And we sit in fourth. At 72 and 64. We sit at fourth at 72 and 64. I would love for you guys to let me know how you feel about the Orioles, because I don't think anyone really seen this coming, except for me. Bringing up Adley Rutschman, we're bringing up all the young talent, Grayson Rodriguez, Kyle Stowers, a lot of guys are coming up, and it's really great to see the next generation of, great Baltimore sports, great Baltimore baseball players, just starting out. It's kind of amazing to be able to see the start of these guys' careers. They're talking about Adley Rutschman, being possibly one of the best catchers in baseball right now. Sorry, guys. Give me 1 second. Yeah, so they're talking about Adley Rutschman being the one of the best catchers in baseball right now. Not Kyle Stowers, excuse me. Grayson Rodriguez is making his debut here very soon. Gunnar Henderson comes into the league, is playing shortstop, playing second, playing a whole bunch of different stuff, and hits a home run. His first MLB hit is a home run. And now, if that's not a good sign, I really don't know what is. As we look at the wild card standings here, Baltimore is currently 3.5 games out behind Tampa Bay, Seattle, and Toronto. crazy that two of those teams are in our division, but we are right there. And for us to be right there, with this, young team, a roster full of young talent, it feels good. It feels like the future is bright. It feels like we even have a shot at making it in there this year. Do we win it all? I'm not exactly sure, but the future is bright, and I feel good about it. Santander, keep hitting bombs. Adley, you just keep doing you. Seti Mullins, don't hit a ball near him. Don't hit a ball near him. You hit a ball near him in center field, is done. So, as an Orioles fan, we feel good. We will talk about the Orioles a little bit more as we get closer to October to see where they are. Right now, we're playing the Blue Jays, currently top of the second inning. We're up 1-0. Very important game there as we are fighting them for that wild card spot. So hopefully we can pull out these next couple games. But we are up 1-0 in the top of the top of the second. So looking good. Now, are you ready? Okay, before we get into that, we can talk about this one. Question: thoughts on a full season with the wall being moved back and left? I kind of am liking it. Guys are still hitting bombs right over there in left field, but it has, cut down on it a little bit. Either way, I didn't really mind, but I think it's a little bit better now. It's better for the game. Appreciate you guys, Yankees fans out there, giving props to my Orioles. So let's see. What else do we have here in these questions? Who wins a playoff game first, Orioles or Ravens? Perfect timing to be bringing up this question. Honestly, if we're going to be honest, if we're talking about just a playoff game or like a series, if we're talking just a playoff game, the Orioles might do it because technically, baseball playoffs start in October, and we'll obviously have to wait a lot longer for the NFL playoffs than that. So, Orioles very well could win a playoff game before the Ravens this year if we can squeeze our way in there, which I think we very well can. So, the safe bet would say Ravens, obviously, but I feel good about my Orioles. So, I'm going to say the Orioles squeeze their way into the wild card, and we're not going to get swept. We're at least going to win a couple games. So, there you go. We can talk a little bit of basketball before we go into the main thing that I know everybody's waiting for and everybody wants to talk about because it's that week. I get it. I'm super pumped too. But before we get into that, I want to go back to a question to kick off this little bit of basketball talk that we will do here from my man Diablo. Do you think Lakers will land Kyrie? Oh, hard to say. Honestly, I could see them rocking out with Pat Bev and Russ at the point guard spot. I don't know if they're going to be able to pull Kyrie. I could, to be honest, see Kyrie staying in Brooklyn now at this point. I know it always goes back and forth. You never know with these guys, but don't be surprised if Kyrie does not leave Brooklyn. I would not be surprised. Other basketball news. I know a lot of teams are kind of just working out. A lot of guys showing out in their summer league, summer leagues and stuff. Luka just dropped, I believe, 40-something points in that European league. So a lot of guys just kind of, working out over the summer, watching stuff like that. Not too many breaking stories, I don't think, at the moment. I know Kemba Walker, the buyout from Detroit, got delayed due to struggles finding a team. Anything else you guys really want to talk about real quick? NBA, college basketball-wise, we can talk about, looking forward ahead to college basketball. Who you guys think the early favorites are? I'm going to tell you automatically I'm riding with UNC. I think for the first year head coach, Herbie to take them to the ship last year. In his first year, they are loaded with talent. A lot of guys still came back. I think they'll be able to make a run and actually follow through with the complete mission this year. I know the Cavs just got Donovan Mitchell. That's a big story. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, right. Iraq. Trying to get a little bit more into basketball this past year or two, especially with getting into the sports broadcasting. I've definitely had to branch out and kind of make sure I'm staying hip to everything that's going on, right? So that's why I wanted to bring that up too. Yeah, Donovan Mitchell to the Cavs is a blockbuster trade. Donovan Mitchell, an all-pro guard from the Utah Jazz, obviously wasn't working out there between him, Rudy Gay. Things weren't really working out there, so he goes to the Cavs, who surprisingly now find themselves loaded with young talent after being in quite the rebuild, to say, after LeBron left. So not too long of a turnaround there for the Cavs, actually. I think it's an amazing pickup for them. Pat Bev and Westbrook on the Lakers should be interesting. I agree with that. Yeah, that's going to be interesting for sure. Oh, yeah, Gobert, not Rudy Gay. See, this is why I have my boy Rogers here to correct me, because sometimes I get things wrong. Rudy Gobert. Yeah, obviously things weren't working out between those two guys. We kind of knew that. So he goes on his way to Cleveland, where I hope he can find success there. And I think he can. It's a team that he obviously would be able to lead and be the number one guy there. So I think it's a good situation for him, for sure. Now, we do have one more combat sport to talk about before we get into the American football. Some big boxing fights on this weekend as we look at Claressa Shields fighting this weekend. Where's the card? I had it pulled up here. There we go. All right, so we have Shields versus Marshall. Two undefeated fighters, both coming in at 12-0. That is gonna be quite the fight there. I'm gonna go ahead and go with Claressa. Just rocking with who I know the best, Olympic boxer. I think she'll be able to edge her out. Then we have Mayer versus Bumgardner. Mayer comes in at 17-0 to Bumgardner 12-1. And then we have Makhmudov 14-0 versus Takam, who is a veteran, comes in at 39-6-1. That one, those are all in September 16th will be Makhmudov versus Takam. Shields, Marshall, Mayer, Bumgardner, Saturday, September 10th, which will be this Saturday. Ring walk is at 5 p.m., it looks like. Let's go ahead and dive into a little bit of the fight information here. So the fight is at the O2 Arena in London, held at the middleweight bout. Shields 27 versus Marshall coming in at 31. Marshall, the taller fighter, 6 foot to 5'8". Both orthodox. Claressa Shields coming off 5 decision wins. Marshall coming off knockout, TKO, knockout, TKO. So a lot of power coming behind Marshall. Clarissa is going to have to, use her skill, use her boxing to maybe box around her a little bit, avoid the big punch, and not get her lights put out. Definitely going to be a good fight. I know Canelo has another fight coming up. If we look at him, now the last time Canelo fought, we've seen, well, when he went up in weight, we've seen him take an L. Canelo versus GGG3 is all set for September 17th. It will be held in Las Vegas. Going to be a good fight. Third bout between these fellows. Canelo, the former winner, I believe, of both fights. Yeah, so majority decision in the second fight. And then how did he win in the first fight? Yeah, so we look at the scorecards. It was a draw. All right, yes. Canelo both times comes back to fight him a third time this Saturday. Going to be September 17th. Sorry, not this Saturday. Clarissa Shields this Saturday. But I'm looking to take Canelo in that fight again. Probably another majority decision win. I don't think he knocks him out, but we'll get into that as time comes on. Now, before we get into the moment that you've all been waiting for, I know you guys are waiting for the NFL talk. That's what we're about to get into here. We have covered UFC 279 this weekend already. We have covered how the Orioles are doing a little bit. We'll kind of talk about that a little bit more, but it is kickoff week, so I know you guys want to get into that. I want to remind you, I appreciate you guys tuning in for the first official stream. Things will only get better as this stream grows and matures. I can only see things upgrading and getting better as we go on. So for all you guys that are here in the beginning, all of you guys that are here for the kickoff, I really appreciate you guys. Really appreciate the support. It literally means the world to me that you guys are here when maybe not as many people know about it or come to show support. So really appreciate that. If you guys could, if you forgot, hit the thumbs up on your way in here. Go ahead and share the stream out. We're going to be hanging out for a little while longer, be able to talk some football here. Before we do that, I want to go ahead and run my new intro back for you guys that my man Jay Cruz made for me. Pretty cool intro showing a few of my favorite athletes, cool sports moments and stuff like that. So right after this, we're going to go ahead and get into some NFL talk. So just a quick reminder for you guys that are asking, this stream will be every single Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. We will be here live in the zone with Zeb. Come here to get in the zone, get your sports gambling advice, get the latest news, breaking news, top stories, all in the sports world. We will be talking about it. We will be breaking it down. And you already know I've got to put my own little twist on things. So as like I said, the show progresses, as it matures, as we grow. I cannot wait to bring more and more new ideas to you guys and segments and different stuff. So we're going to have a lot of fun here. Just you guys wait. So now it's time to go ahead and get into the moment you've all been waiting for. It's finally here.
Are you ready?
I'm so hyped.
I drank a beer.
This time will be on Sunday.
Drank another beer.
Just kidding, because I'm going to be
Beers.
coming back from
4
Pittsburgh.
beers.
But it's okay.
5 beers. 6 beers. 7 beers. 8 beers. 9 beers. And a Bloody Mary.
Who else is ready to turn up this weekend? And tomorrow is when it kicks off. Buffalo Bills will be taking on the Los Angeles Rams in the NFL kickoff game on Thursday Night Football. Are you ready? Because I'm ready. I'm going to go ahead and put the NFL schedule up for week 1 for you guys right here. It is a little small. Zoom in a little bit there for you guys to see it. As I just said, the Buffalo Bills taking on the Los Angeles Rams Thursday night, which is tomorrow at 8:20. That is going to be an amazing matchup between two of the league's top teams. Then we look at the 1 o'clock matchups. We have the Browns taking on the Panthers, the Steelers taking on the Bengals, Patriots versus the Dolphins, Colts, Texans, Baltimore Ravens, the best team in the NFL, will be taking on the New York Jets. Detroit Lions taking on the Eagles, Niners, Bears, Saints taking on the Falcons, Jaguars will go against the Commanders. Then the 4:25 games, we have the Chiefs and Cardinals. Chargers will be taking on the Raiders. Green Bay at Minnesota. New York Giants will be facing the Tennessee Titans. And then to close out the week on Sunday Night Football, we have the we have the Buccaneers taking on the Dallas Cowboys. And then Monday Night Football will be the Denver Broncos going against the Seattle Seahawks. So some good matchups here. A lot of stuff to be excited about and a lot of good storylines heading into week 1. If you guys are around the Pittsburgh area tomorrow night, you can come watch the game with me, the Alley Cat Beer Code guys, Jay Cruz at Sideline Sports Bar in Pittsburgh. We'll be there hanging out, eating some wings, just chopping it up, having a good old time. So if you're in the Pittsburgh area, come hang out. So to start out, we have the defending Super Bowl champs taking on the Buffalo Bills. Now, I didn't get graphics for all these games done. Like I said, I will get a little bit better as the show goes and gets a little bit more air under its wings. But I do have some. I'm not a complete F up. So if we look, there we go. Make me small. Yes, the Bucks did play Dallas the first game last year, so it's interesting that they're playing each other this year again. But to start out on Thursday night, Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills take on Aaron Donald and the reigning Super Bowl champion Los Angeles Rams. If we look at the Buffalo Bills, they are the Super Bowl favorites right now, according to most sports books. Probably because Josh Allen is arguably the favorite to win MVP this year. He is a great dual threat quarterback, a guy that can throw the ball all the way down the field with accuracy, a guy that has some wheels, can get out of the pocket and make things happen. One of the best young quarterbacks in the game right now. Yep, yeah, Trey White out, but it is okay. They are still stacked because they have a good defense on all levels. If we look at the secondary, like Alley Cat said, obviously without their best corner, but Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer handling the safety duties, the backstop of the defense. We look at, the linebacker core consisting of, Tremaine Edmonds, who is a great young linebacker. You got Ed Oliver on the D-line with the second-year guy, Greg Rousseau, who I really liked coming out of Miami, I believe. So, although they're running with 2 rookie corners, they do have a good defense on all levels. They should still be able to be competitive, but it's going to be hard because when you look at the LA Rams, they are loaded with offensive weapons. And when I say loaded, I mean loaded. Cooper Kupp, Allen Robinson, Cam Akers, Van Jefferson, Darrell Henderson. I mean, Matt Stafford has plenty of guys he can throw the ball to out there. Even their young receivers that are under, Allen Robinson, Van Jefferson, they have a lot of talent, in that receiver room. So for two rookie corners to be taking that on, it's going to be a lot to handle in their NFL debut. So you look at that. You look at Aaron Donald on the opposite side of the ball, who's arguably the best defensive player in the NFL right now. A guy that requires 2 or 3 guys to block him on every play. He is so disruptive. He is such a force. Made the game-winning play in the Super Bowl. I mean, you can't say enough about that guy. So definitely going to be a good matchup of top teams here. Stafford had a bad arm, so they'll run a lot or probably do a bunch of option plays. Yeah, I did see that Stafford apparently, though, completely cleared and completely ready to go, according to the Rams. Of course, that's obviously what they're going to say. But I still think he'll be able to hurl it down the field. Probably, maybe not as much. Definitely going to see a good dose of Cam Akers. But if we're looking at how the odds are looking here, the Buffalo Bills are the actual favorites, -2.5. If you're going with the spread, that puts them at a -134 for the money line. So if you're thinking about bets here, honestly, I like the Rams in this game. They are the underdog. They're +114. Like I said, with that defense, they have Aaron Donald. They got Jalen Ramsey still. And then all the offensive weapons they have. It's going to be a lot for a few rookie cornerbacks to handle. I think the Bills have a great squad. I think they have a great chance this year, but I think LA might come out here and start the season off with a win. So, +114. Give me the Rams. Next game, we're going to go ahead and look at one with a pretty interesting storyline here. Cleveland Browns will be traveling to Carolina to take on the Panthers. Obviously, the Panthers acquired Baker Mayfield from the Cleveland Browns. We look at the Panthers, their team this year, with Baker Mayfield, with a healthy Christian McCaffrey, and with a boosted offensive line, getting Bradley Bozeman, the center from the Baltimore Ravens, and drafting Ikem Ekwonu in this year's draft, bolstering up that line. Is definitely going to help out Baker in that new system down there between DJ Moore, CMC, even Robbie Anderson. He definitely has a few weapons down there to help him out. So, going to be a good game. Going to be interesting to see Baker taking on his former team where there seems to be a little bit of bad blood. According to Baker, reporters are stirring up drama that's not there. However, it is interesting to see that with the way the situation was handled in Cleveland by the Browns, getting Deshaun Watson and kind of throwing in the towel on Baker. It's I'm going to be intrigued to see him take on his former team. If we look at the Cleveland Browns, they do have a great backfield, a two-headed monster consisting of Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, two of the better backs in the NFL right now. They also obviously acquired Deshaun Watson and Amari Cooper in this offseason. Big pickup there after losing Jarvis Landry, which was their number one receiver. And they also have a good defense and a young head coach. Yeah, that's from what the media says. I'm going to F them up. Don't know if that's really what he said or not, but who knows? The defense consists of, obviously, Myles Garrett, one of the most imposing figures in the NFL. Denzel Ward over there. Young guys like Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, a good young defensive squad, a good young coach. Going to be interesting to see how this matchup goes. But if we look at the odds right now, the Browns are the underdogs, sitting at plus 106 money line compared to minus 124 for the Carolina Panthers. 1.5 on the spread. Give me the Panthers spread on this one, minus 1.5. I think the Panthers are going to win this one here, so might as well take the spread, minus 1.5, rather than the minus 124 money line. So I like the Panthers here going against Baker Mayfield, going against his former team. Yeah, Iraq, I would not like to see that, so hopefully not. No Super Bowls for the Browns, please. Another fun matchup that we have here, the Philadelphia Eagles traveling to Detroit to take on the Lions, who is this year's official Hard Knocks team. If you've been watching any Hard Knocks, I'm sure you know there is loads of young talent on that team between drafting Aiden Hutchinson, between drafting, oh my goodness, Jameson Williams, that's who it was, from Alabama. That's two studs right there in this year's draft. We obviously know they took Penei Sewell, the tackle, last year to bolster that line. Amon-Ra St. Brown, TJ Hawkinson, loaded with young talent. You know, this is a team, that's why I put right there underrated, because they do have a lot of young talent. Jared Goff at the helm at the QB position. Going to be interesting to see that in, you know, the second year system. A guy that actually, you know, was played in the Super Bowl. So, I mean, we got to see. People maybe threw in the towel a little bit early on Jared Goff. Obviously, I don't think one of the top guys in the league, but a guy that is, you know, a can throw a good ball and, you know, can manage a game. So don't forget about DeAndre Swift in the backfield. That guy's going to be seeing a lot of touches this year. I like a lot of the talent that the Lions have this year. Defensively is where they kind of lose me a little bit. Got Aiden Hutchinson this year, which is good. You know, a few guys, young guys in the secondary that still, you know, are kind of trying to develop a little bit, but a good young team. I like them. Then we look at the Philadelphia Eagles. Jalen Hurts going into a big year. A lot of people putting a lot of pressure on him and the Eagles, saying that this should be their division to win. I think Jalen Hurts is developing pretty well. I think he's going to continue to develop pretty well. A guy that can be a very good dual threat quarterback. I think he needs to work on his just decision making a little bit, kind of, you know, keep working on throwing a good ball, and I think he will be fine. And to help him with that, they went ahead and got A.J. Brown from the Tennessee Titans to haul in passes from their young QB. A.J. Brown, a guy that is a stud, had a few great years in Tennessee. Now that he's left there from being the number one receiver, he will be the number one receiver in Philadelphia. So it'll be cool to see him and, you know, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, and those guys catching passes from Jalen. Eagles run D should be one of the best. Goff is going to have to throw it around the field, so the O-line needs to live up to expectations. And that's another thing that I was about to start talking about for the Eagles. I really like the Eagles' defense this year. They had a lot of strong pickups throughout the offseason, drafting Jordan Davis, Devin Lloyd. No, excuse me. Yeah. No. Whom? Excuse me. Devin Lloyd went to the Jaguars. I know they got Jordan Davis first round, though, after they traded up for him. Nakobe Dean, that's who I was thinking of. Nakobe Dean, a good player out of Georgia, a good linebacker. So not only did they pick them up, they were able to get Hassan Reddick, who is a good linebacker, good pass rusher there. Fletcher Cox still in the game. It's going to be tough to run against those guys for sure. So, yeah, right. Exactly. That's what Nakobe Dean they picked up. So that should help them out as well. This is going to be a tough game to call. I like the Lions because they are scrappy. They sit as plus 166 underdogs. The spread is 3.5. Honestly, though, as much as I like the young talent of the Lions, give me the Eagles. You could probably take the spread minus 3.5. If you want to be on the safe side, go with minus 198 on the money line. Yeah, I don't know if I'll be able to go live during the games and all, but I'll definitely be doing content on the games in the future for sure after everything goes down. So give me the Eagles on this one. As we go into our next matchup here, we have the Bill Belichick-led New England Patriots taking on the Miami Dolphins, who are under new head coach Mike McDaniel, comes from the 49ers system. Not only did they get Mike McDaniel, but they were able to get one of the league's fastest players in Tyreek Hill, a guy that was catching passes from Pat Mahomes for a few years. Some of you may know him by the Cheetah. Not only do they have Tyreek Hill, they have Mike Gesicki down there. This is going to be a big year for Tua to see if he can, take a step forward and develop in the way that they're hoping he does. Jalen Waddell, a guy that's going to be, asked to do a lot under Tyreek Hill. They have a plethora of running backs, kind of between Chase Edmonds, Raheem Mostert, a couple other guys. Kind of hard to predict who's going to be the lead back in that backfield, though. On the other side of the ball, with New England Patriots, we look at obviously Bill Belichick, one of the greatest head coaches to ever do it, possibly the greatest. He's trying to get this team into shape. And it's crazy to say that because they had a winning season last year. So to say getting them in this shape, obviously we have high expectations for Bill Belichick and the Patriots. But when we look at what they bring to the table, Mac can throw. Let's just get that out there. Mac can throw. So they're going to want to put the ball in the hands of that dual threat backfield now after drafting Ramondre Stevenson. They have Harris back there still as well. So having the dual threat backfield will open things up in the passing game, hopefully, for Mac Jones to be able to get the ball in there to Hunter Henry, a guy who was a tight end previously for the Chargers. Saw a lot of targets last year, especially in the red zone for the Patriots after coming over there. So look for him to be targeted heavily. They were able to get Devontae Parker from the Miami Dolphins. Jacoby Myers still is a young guy over in the New England wide receiver room trying to make his way. So a few guys on the offense that can make plays. Not any huge standouts, though. My man Rogers says he's hearing the offense hasn't looked too great. This is another one that's really tough for me to call. Because I can see these teams splitting this year. I'll ride with my boy Rogers here. I'll say give me Miami in the season opener. Look for Bill to come back with a vengeance later on in the season, though. If you want to look at the odds here, we have the Dolphins sitting at minus 172 as the favorite. Minus 3.5 is the spread. I could see it being a close game, but I think you'll be safe with the spread. Minus 3.5. It could be a field goal game, but I think you're okay to take the spread on this one because I could see it being a touchdown victory. On to the next game, the main game that matters. The Baltimore Ravens taking on the New York Jets. You already know what it is.
Are you ready?
My man Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens, featuring the best secondary in the NFL, will take on the New York Jets, who are without Zach Wilson. So you know what that means. Oh, Joe Flacco will be leading the way for the New York Jets, going against his former team where he did win his only Super Bowl. We look at the Jets, as we said, without Zach Wilson. Joe Flacco taking the reins. This is a team that has a bright future, maybe not quite there yet, but has a lot of great young pieces and are starting to build something, I think, between Elijah Moore and Garrett Wilson in the receiver room, between Breece Hall and Michael Carter in the running backs room, between drafting Sauce Gardner and, obviously, like I just said, Garrett Wilson in this year's draft. It was a great draft class. I think this is a team that's on the verge of, kind of getting there. I just don't think they're quite there yet. And yes, Flacco is still playing. So we look at the Ravens. You already know what it is with the Ravens. Lamar Jackson, he is the most electric player in the NFL. And before anyone else says it, yes, I know that there has not been a deal done yet between Baltimore Ravens and Lamar Jackson. I know a deal has not been signed for a contract renewal, but I am not worried. Because Lamar knows his worth, and so do the Baltimore Ravens, but they have to do what's best for the team. So if somehow a deal does not get done by now, I don't fret. I'm not scared. I know we will get one done before the end of the contract, whether that be, after this year leading into the next year. I think, if anything, he may get the franchise tag. If they aren't able to get him on a deal, they'll franchise tag him and then work the deal out, which is very possible at this point. But I don't expect Lamar to be going anywhere. And going into my next point, as my man Rogers here just questioned, the Ravens do have the best secondary in the NFL as well. If we really want to break it down, Marlon Humphrey, obviously the leading cornerback, he's a top 5 corner in the NFL. Doesn't really get thrown his way. Has very few games where he's let up, a lot of yards or touchdowns. Doesn't get burnt up often. This guy is just extremely consistent, constantly forces fumbles, and doesn't really get the ball thrown his way. On the other side, you have Marcus Peters, who is one of the most aggressive cornerbacks in the game. A super high rate of interceptions. The dude is a playmaker and a certified baller. Under that, we can bring up the depth chart here. We have Marcus Peters, as I just said, bringing in these corner spot. We have Kyle Fuller, who you guys might know previously played for the Denver Broncos. So Kyle Fuller was a great pickup throughout this offseason. Brandon Stevens, Jalen Armour Davis, and Demarion Williams, a.k.a. Pepe Williams, all younger guys that are very talented and are more than capable of holding up the back end. I especially like Pepe Williams, number 22. And then looking at the safeties, we have Chuck Clark and Geno Stone on one side, which certified dogs. And it's Chuck Clark, arguably one of the smartest players, on defense in the NFL. And then Marcus Williams coming over from the Saints, one of the best safeties in the NFL right now. Kyle Hamilton, one of the best players in the NFL draft this year, will probably be starting out and is a good contender for Defensive Player of the Year. So, yeah, without a doubt, best secondary in the league, one of the better defenses in the league. So, going to be a very tough matchup for the New York Jets. And with that being said, give me the Baltimore Ravens handedly. you can feel comfortable with taking the spread here, although it is a -7.5 spread. Don't fret. Don't be scared. Go ahead and take the Ravens spread. We will beat them by more than a touchdown. It'll easily be 10 points or more that Joe Flacco will lose to his former team. Now, this is where things kind of fell apart here. I don't really have the highlights for these teams, so I'm just going to go over them, but we will go over the matchups. Looking forward, we have the Colts taking on the Houston Texans. Colts obviously featuring one of the best running backs in the league. Not yet. I won't. Jonathan Taylor, arguably the best running back in the league. Some people would say the best running back in the league. He will be the focal point of that offense this year. They bring in veteran quarterback Matt Ryan from the Atlanta Falcons. Played there for a long time. He will try to bring in some leadership, veteran leadership, try to lead these guys, a little bit further than what they were able to do last year. And he stands behind a very good offensive line. So on the offensive side of the ball for the Colts, good O-line, good veteran QB now, and one of the league's best running backs. They do have a little bit, of a lackluster receiving core. Michael Pittman, a guy that they're going to need to step up this year. Not much behind him. But with that being said, Jonathan Taylor leading the way, maybe opening up things for them in the play action side of things, throwing the ball. The Colts don't look too bad this year. Houston Texans, a team that people are projecting to be one of the worst teams in the league. Probably will be towards the bottom of the league if we're going to be honest. We're able to get some good pickups, though, throughout the draft in the offseason from Derek Stingley and Dameon Pierce in the draft, the starting cornerback, and what we are anticipating will be the starting running back in Pierce. T.Y. Hilton's still down there in Indianapolis, obviously getting a little older. But the Texans, with a few, young guys now, obviously Brandon Cooks is holding it down there in the receiver room, a guy that is so slept on by everyone. He constantly produces 1,000-yard seasons and just gets slept on and overlooked. With that being said, not the greatest amount of playmakers, lacking kind of in the tight end room and the receiver room still. With that being said, on the defensive side of the ball, drafted Derek Stingley. Still, the defense isn't really there. They need help in the secondary. They need help kind of on all levels of the defense. So expect a lot of Brandon Cooks and expect a lot of shootout wins if they get some. Give me the Colts here in this one. They are obviously the heavy favorite coming in at -340. -340. Spread is 7.5. If you're gonna, to be honest, I'd stay away from this one because I could see the Texans being scrappy and this being a one touchdown game. If you're gonna bet on it though, I take the Colts spread -7.5 for -106. Our next matchup here, exciting one, a battle of two good quarterbacks. We have Pat Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs taking on the Arizona Cardinals, led by Kyler Murray. They will be without DeAndre Hopkins for the first 6 games at least. Start out the season. The Kansas City Chiefs, obviously, as we said, talking about the Dolphins matchup, they are without Tyreek Hill now, which leaves Travis Kelce as the primary target. Picked up Juju Smith-Schuster in the offseason. Between him, Mecole Hardman, and Sky Moore, the rookie, will probably be competing for touches there in Kansas City. Defense over there in Kansas City lost Tyrann Mathieu. Still have Chris Jones, but not really the best defense in my opinion either. We look at the Arizona Cardinals, other than D-Hop and Kyler Murray, James Conner, very capable running back in the backfield there, a guy that I can see getting a lot of touches. They got Hollywood Brown in a trade with the Baltimore Ravens, a trade that actually the Ravens turned into getting Tyler Linderbaum to shore up their offensive line. With that being said, Hollywood is a fast guy, a playmaker. When he's able to get open, I think he will do good in like a number 2 spot there, 2 or 3 spot. AJ Green, the veteran's still there. They have playmakers. They have Isaiah Simmons. They have young guys on the other side of the ball as well. This is a tough one to call because I don't really like either defense too much. But with that being said, I guess I'll just ride with the better quarterback, and I'll take Kansas City to get a win here in Week 1. If you're looking at betting wise, Kansas City is the favorite, sitting at minus 255 for the money line. Cardinals plus 210. Spread is 5.5. Tough one to call there. I don't like the 5.5 spread because I could see it being a touchdown game. So Kansas City obviously not going to cover that. Maybe take the Cardinals, but then again, I could see this being a field goal game as well. If I'm riding with anything, I guess just take Kansas City money line because I don't really like the spread in that game of 5.5. I think this is going to be a close matchup. Here we go. My buddy Rogers is still in the chat there. I know he's been waiting for me to talk about this one. We have the Green Bay Packers taking on the Minnesota Vikings, a divisional matchup to start out the year. The Green Bay Packers come in as this is a split matchup. Green Bay is the favorite technically. Money line sitting at minus 116 for the Packers, minus 102 for the Vikings. Spread is a 1.5 spread. This is going to be a tough game. I think the Packers are significantly worse without Devontae Adams. I think that is a huge blow no matter what you can say about Aaron Rodgers and how good he is. He is without his top playmaker. I think we see a lot of the dual threat running backs that they have. The two-headed monster that they have in Green Bay, which will be A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones leading the way, obviously. They do have playmakers there still. They were able to pick up Romeo Doubs and Christian Watson, 2 rookies this year. Sammy Watkins is over there. But I think they are still lacking that offensive playmaker until maybe if one of these offensive rookies can take that leap and, be a first-year guy. If we look at the Minnesota Vikings, a team that has a new head coach under Kevin O'Connell coming from the LA Rams. He led that offense over there for LA. He's going to bring that brain to Minnesota, hoping to bring this offense to the next level, which we probably all thought it should have been at for a few years now. Kirk Cousins leading the way at quarterback, a guy that a lot of people have questions about, a guy that, puts up, good numbers, but people question if he has, that it factor to get the job done at the end of the day. He is surrounded by playmakers now, though, from Justin Jefferson to Adam Thielen to Dalvin Cook. He has a lot of guys around him on the offensive side of the ball. Defensive side of the ball, they have a few guys like Daniel Hunter, Anthony Barr, obviously. Eric Kendricks. Harrison Smith is still there. I think it's going to be a good game. It's probably going to be a close game, but I like the offense better for the Vikings. So give me the Vikings in this one. Like I said, I would probably go ahead with the way this one's sitting. You might as well just take the Vikings money line at minus 102 rather than the plus 1.5 spread at minus 110. So I'm taking Vikings money line for this one. Packers defense, should be top 5. I do like the Packers defense from Rashawn Gary to Jair Alexander, obviously Devondre Campbell, a lot of guys over there. I don't know. I don't know if they're going to be top 5 personally. Kenny Clark is still there, obviously. I do think they'll be a top 10 defense, top 5. I'm not sure about. They do have studs on that defense. Adrian Amos still there too as well. I'm not saying it's going to be an easy game. I think it'll be a dogfight. I do think the Vikings are able to scrap this one away, though. And that's all I have. No, it's not. We have a couple more slides here as we go through the rest of the matchups. 49ers will be taking on the Chicago Bears. Chicago Bears, another team that people are projecting to be towards the bottom of the NFL this year, led by second-year quarterback Dustin Fields, a guy who's extremely mobile, able to make plays outside of the pocket, maybe lacking on the playmaker side of things. Darnell Mooney, a guy to look for in the receiver room. David Montgomery, a guy out of the backfield that sees a lot of touches. And Cole Kmet, actually a good young tight end. Excuse me. So, a few guys. Excuse me. A few guys there. A few guys that can, catch the ball and make some plays. But overall, this team is obviously still lacking. Losing Khalil Mack. Almost losing Roquan Smith. So their defense will need a little bit of help as well. And they take on a 49ers team that, as long as their young quarterback comes to play, they should have a pretty good squad. Trey Lance obviously going to be the first year. This is his first year starting. A guy that we hear a lot of mixed things about. Seems to be a versatile playmaker, though. Seems to be able to, seems to have a pretty good arm on him. So we will see how he does. He is surrounded by playmakers with George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, Elijah Mitchell. He does have the playmakers around him. One of the best tackle in the game. Trent Williams is there to, protect him. So give me the 49ers in this game. Their defense, something else that the Bears are going to have to deal with Nick Bosa and the pressure that the 49ers front likes to put on teams. So I will take them, and I will take them handedly. They're sitting at minus 330 underdog, plus 265 for the Bears, 6.5 spread. I'll go ahead and take the spread on this one. Give me the Niners minus 6.5 for minus 120. I think they'll be able to win this game by a touchdown or more. So as we go on, I don't have, like I said, graphics for all of these games. So we're going to go ahead and go through the rest of them here, and you guys get to look at my pretty face. We look at the Steelers versus the Bengals, a divisional matchup that is going to matter a lot for my Baltimore Ravens. The Bengals did nothing but improve this offseason. They come in with an offense that is loaded with Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, Jamar Chase, Joe Mixon. They added to the O-line, getting guys like La'el Collins, Andrew Norwell, a lot of guys on the offensive line, which was the thing that held them back this year, last year not having time to get rid of the ball for Joe Burrow. So now that he is protected, that offense is going to be one that a lot of defenses are going to be worried about. On the defense side of the ball, they still have guys there. I don't think it's the best defense in the league, but they have Trey Hendricks. Excuse me, talking too fast. They have Trey Hendrickson. They have Eli Apple. They have a few guys over there that can, handle that side of the ball. So I do, unfortunately, like the Bengals this year. The Pittsburgh Steelers, a team that's coming in with a sketchy quarterback situation, to say the least. Mitchell Trubisky is named the Week 1 starter. A lot of people like Kenny Pickett to take over at some point this year, though. We are yet to see that. They do have a loaded offense outside of that, receiver-wise. We look at Deontay Johnson, Chase Claypool, George Pickens is a rookie that a lot of people like right now, and they still have James Washington there. Pat Fryermuth is a tight end that's going to, probably be on the rise this year. Defensive side of the ball, the Steelers, they don't look bad. TJ Watt led the league in sacks, one of the most threatening, forces on defense. Still got Minkah Fitzpatrick, still have a few guys back there on the defensive side of things, still got Devin Bush, guys like that. So you can't forget about the Steelers. Obviously, Mike Tomlin's never had a losing season in his career. Don't really think he's going to start this year. But with that being said, I will take the Bengals week 1 to win this game, as they are the favorite, sitting at minus 280. Steelers are plus 230 underdog. The spread is 6.5. It's going to be a hard game to call. You're probably safe taking the 6.5 spread because Cincinnati might win by a touchdown. But safest bet, honestly, is the minus 280 money line. I know it doesn't sound great, but I just get nervous about the Steelers being scrappy, especially with those in-division matchups, and this being like a field goal type of game or something. Moving on, we look at another division matchup with the New Orleans Saints taking on the Atlanta Falcons, two teams that projected probably not to be the best teams this year. Atlanta definitely going to be probably at the bottom of the league. The Saints have a shot, but I don't see them doing too well. Saints will be led by Jameis Winston. We're still working on seeing if we're going to be able to see Alvin Kamara for the first game or two of the season. Michael Thomas seems to be healthy now. Chris Olave is a guy that they picked up. Obviously, their defense is still good, replacing Marcus Williams with Tyrann Mathieu, guys like Cameron Jordan, a few other guys that they have, Demario Davis still, guys like that. A defense that has playmakers. Probably a middle-of-the-pack team, though, if I had to guess. But a middle-of-the-pack team, I think, will beat the lower-of-the-pack team, which is the Atlanta Falcons. Marcus Mariota is their QB going into the season. It seems like Drake London, the rookie, will be their leading wide receiver because they're without Calvin Ridley. Kyle Pitts is a guy that's going to see a lot of touches out of the tight end spot. Not really impressive backfield, not really an impressive defense. Give me the Saints. Minus 5.5 is the spread. I will take that. They are minus 225 if you're looking at money line, plus 190 for the Falcons, but I'll take the Saints minus 5.5. And now we go into the next local matchup for me, the closest next local matchup, as the Washington Commanders will host the Jacksonville Jaguars. Trevor Lawrence, the second-year guy, taking his team into D.C. to face what should be one of the better defensive fronts in the NFL this year. A team that, the defense maybe let them down a little bit last year, didn't perform up to, what we thought they could. I'm seeing that Chase Young maybe just aggravated his injury. Not a good sign, but still a lot of guys on that defensive front. They bring in Jahan Dotson, another guy into the wide receiver room, along with Terry McLaurin, who was a standout guy last year. Obviously, the big story for them, Carson Wentz, the new quarterback, replacing Taylor Heineke. They were able to squeeze into a playoff spot with Taylor Heineke before, though. So does Carson Wentz, give them enough to get into the playoffs? Maybe. The backfield is kind of a rotating backfield for now. Antonio Gibson, the lead guy, but look for that to maybe shift throughout the season. Brian Robinson is a guy to look out for. J.D. McKissick sees a lot of passing down work. So this is a team with a lot of guys, interchangeable parts on the offense. Defense, their strength is definitely their defensive front. Two good corners in Kendall Fuller and William Jackson. So two good corners there. Cameron Curl is a young safety that could take a step forward this year. Jaguars come in with second-year quarterback Trevor Lawrence looking to lead them a little bit better than he did last year. A guy that, needs a little bit more of an O-line. They bring in Christian Kirk on a massive deal to be their number one wide receiver, a deal that, at least for now, seems to be a little bit too much. But we will see. I expect Christian Kirk, to step in and get a lot of touches, and hopefully he'll be able to perform. They have two guys in the backfield that look good. Drafting Travis Etienne last year, didn't get to see too much of him though, and James Robinson back there still. So guys that they are hoping can give them a lot of production out of the backfield. Marvin Jones is still there in the receiver room. So this is a team that still needs to fill some holes. They have Miles Jack on the defense. Obviously, the number one pick, Trayvon Walker, going to them number one overall. It'll be interesting to see how he adjusts to the NFL. They, I believe, also got Devin Lloyd, the linebacker out of Georgia. So a few young guys on the defense, that hopefully can develop well. But I'm going to have to go ahead and ride with the Commanders here. Give me the Commanders. They're sitting at minus 142 money line, plus 120 for the Jaguars. Spread is 2.5. Give me the 2.5. Give me the spread for the Commanders. I think they'll be able to cover that. They should at least be able to win by a field goal. So I will take Washington to overpower the weak offensive front for the Jaguars. I like the defense of the Commanders to win that game, and I like Terry McLaurin to come out and show out in week 1. So looking at our next matchup, this is one that a lot of people probably have circled. This is going to be a very good game. I'll go ahead and bring this up. That way you guys can still see all the games. Let's talk about that Chargers versus Raiders game, a divisional matchup. Between two teams with high expectations that AFC West is going to be very hotly contested this year. Justin Herbert, a guy with a lot of pressure on his shoulders, will lead the Los Angeles Chargers into battle. He is one of the taller quarterbacks in the league, standing at about 6'6", 6'7", still mobile, still has a cannon of an arm. This guy is an amazing prospect, probably will be one of the better quarterbacks in the league for years to come. I think he has a chance at, being one of the higher producers of passing yards and touchdowns this year. I really like their offense between him, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Austin Eckler. They have a lot of playmakers over there. And then you look at the defensive side of the ball, they've done nothing but get better, with Derwin James holding it down there, Joey Bosa holding it down there. But adding Khalil Mack and J.C. Jackson to the fold only makes things better. That is a team that has a very good chance at being a contender this year. Across from them, the Las Vegas Raiders are pretty thrilled to have what could be the best wide receiver in the league. Devontae Adams joins them, coming from the Green Bay Packers. He links up with his boy Derek Carr down there in Las Vegas. This team also has a lot of playmakers on the offensive side, from Darren Waller and Devontae Adams to Josh Jacobs to Hunter Renfrow, who is a guy that catches a lot of balls out of the slot. So they have a lot of guys there to help out Derek Carr. On the defense, they have Max Crosby, who is applying pressure. I believe Chandler Jones is there now as well. So that's two guys on the defensive front that are going to be applying pressure. Maybe one of the better, pass rushing duos in the league this year. I do think they could still use a little bit more help on the defense. If I have to go in and pick, I'm going to go ahead and say give me the Chargers week 1. I think it's going to be a tough matchup, but I think the Chargers are able to edge out. Like I said, they are the favorite at minus 184. The Raiders sit at plus 154. Not a bad underdog to take, though, the Raiders, if you're looking for an underdog at plus 154, a money line. The spread sits at 3.5. That's a hard one. You could probably go ahead and, 3.5. That's honestly the best bet here is probably just Chargers straight money line minus 184 because it's not too high. But Raiders, good underdog at plus 154 if you need an underdog. As we go down, this is probably my lock of the week. I'm going to go ahead and take the Titans over the New York Giants. The Titans come in with Derrick Henry coming back after suffering his first real injury that kept him out for a lengthy amount of time last year. He comes back in looking to take back the workload that he had before he left. He is probably the most used running back in the NFL. The dude is an absolute tank. Not only that, they added Robert Woods and Treylon Burks in this year's draft to supplement for the loss of A.J. Brown in the receiver department. They also lost Julio Jones. So getting those two guys will definitely help them out. This is a team that looks to, kind of run the ball with Henry, break you down, and then, use the play action and, use passing in between that. So I think they have a good offense set up for that. Looking at them on the defensive side of the ball, they do have playmakers over there that I believe are kind of underrated, actually, like Jeffrey Simmons, guys like Kevin Byard, guys like Bud Dupree is over there now. Zach Cunningham is a good linebacker. So not only do they have playmakers and feature Derrick Henry on the offensive side, they do have guys on the defensive side that are playmakers. Like I said, Zach Cunningham, Jeffrey Simmons, Bud Dupree. Those are all guys that can make plays. With that being said, I think they handle the New York Giants, who will be led by first-year head coach Brian Daboll. Comes over from the Buffalo Bills, hoping to give this team a little bit of life. Daniel Jones still sits in at the QB spot, a guy that I'm not too sure will be there much longer. Maybe he can prove me wrong this year, though. He'll be throwing to Kenny Golladay again and Kadarius Toney, a guy that could take a big leap this year, second-year receiver. People hoping this could be the Saquon Barkley comeback season. Could it? Yes. Will it? I don't know. I think, Saquon does come back to a lot of usage. I think he probably does have a good year. Will I call it a comeback? I guess you could because of what his, past year or two has been, but I don't think he takes over the league again, but I could see it being a good year for him at least. He could very well be the focal point of that offense. Kadarius Toney, like I said, a guy that could get a lot more touches. Golladay, hopefully with Brian Daboll there, maybe he's able to be utilized again. On the defensive side, they were able to do pretty well, actually, getting Kayvon Thibodeau as their first overall draft pick, and then getting guys like Azeez Ojulari, Jihad Ward, a few guys. So still not there, though. I don't think they really have the secondary. I don't think they even have the pass rush, even after getting Kayvon Thibodeau, to do too much this year. I project them to be one of the worst teams in the league. So Titans sitting at minus 240 money line, Giants plus 198. Give me the spread. Titans to cover 5.5. That's looking like the best bet. Because, sorry, Giants fans, but you stink. You stink bad. Anyway, hopefully the Giants fans don't get too mad at me for that. We keep on rolling. Looks like we have 2 games left here, and they are our night games. Tampa Bay Buccaneers heading on down to Dallas, heading on down to Jerry World to take on the Dallas Cowboys. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the GOAT is back. Tom Brady comes back for yet another season. And while they are with that Godwin right now, Tampa Bay Buccaneers have to be one of the favorites in the NFC to go to the Super Bowl. At least they are for me. With all the playmakers that they have on both sides of the ball, I mean, I could probably sit here all day and just list playmakers that they have. Like I said, Tom Brady, obviously, Leonard Fournette will handle majority of the backfield duties. Mike Evans and Chris Godwin still killing it in the wide receiver department. They were able to pick up Julio Jones as well, a veteran that Tom Brady will look to connect with. On the defense side of the ball, still have guys like Shaq Barrett. I believe Lavonte David is injured, I believe. But they have guys like Vita Vea, who arguably one of the best D tackles in the league right now. Devin White, an amazing young linebacker for them. Still have a great secondary. I mean, they have 3 or 4 good corners. Sean Murphy Bunting. They have and Antoine Winfield. Antoine Winfield is holding down the safety spot. We look at the rest of their secondary. They have Carlton Davis, obviously Jamel Dean, the other corners. Who did I picked up Akeem Hicks. I mean, it's just Keanu Neal now. Logan Ryan. I mean, honestly, guys, it's actually kind of ridiculous on the defensive side. Carl Nassib. They had good pickups. Russell Gage is a receiver that they were able to pick up. Don't forget about the young Scotty Miller. I mean, the O-line is just stacked. If you guys don't have the Bucs as a favorite, I mean, I don't know why you don't. There's honestly no reason not to have them as a favorite for the Super Bowl this year. They have the GOAT. They have a stellar defense. They have amazing playmakers. Brady could very well do it again this year. With that being said, they take on Dallas in Jerry World, and Dallas is a plus 116 underdog to the Buccaneers, minus 136 favorite for the money line. CeeDee Lamb will be handling the wide receiver 1 duties now in Dallas. Something that I could see him very well excelling in, don't get me wrong, but it does hurt Dallas losing Amari Cooper because Michael Gallup's still not fully healthy, and under Gallup they have Ced Wilson, I think, or no, they lost Cedric Wilson. They don't really have many guys under them in the receiver department. I think they could use a bit more help in the receiver department. They're going to look for Zeke to have that bounce back year as they always are. But between him and Tony Pollard, they do have a good dual threat backfield. Dak Prescott, obviously a good quarterback. Not a top 3 or maybe 5 guy, but a very good quarterback in the league right now that can make plays. Defense, they have gotten better, getting guys like Micah Parsons and young guys like Leighton Vander Esch still, Trayvon Diggs. DeMarcus Lawrence is obviously still there. So Dallas, to me, still kind of looking like the same boat that they were in last year. Yes, they'll get wins. Yes, they'll do good. They might get a playoff spot now that the Eagles are pretty good. I'm not sure. But I just don't think they have enough. So with that being said, give me the Buccaneers spread in this one. Give me the Bucs 2.5. I like 2.5 and 1.5 is a good spread to cover. I like that. So give me the Bucs minus 2.5 to win that game in Jerry World. And we go on to our last game of week 1. The Denver Broncos, Russell Wilson. Let's ride. We'll ride on down to or ride on up to, I should say, Seattle to take on Russell Wilson's former team in an interesting week 1 matchup. Russell Wilson has spent obviously a lot of time in Seattle. His whole career was spent there. Was able to have a lot of success there. And has won a Super Bowl there in 2014. So obviously had a lot of success in Seattle. He will return there to see if he is either welcomed or booed by the 12th man. I assume he will be welcomed there with open arms. I'm sure they have a lot of love for Mr. Wilson up there in Seattle. But he goes to a team that is an interesting team in my eyes. We look at their receiver room. They are stacked there with Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, KJ Hamler, Tim Patrick. Very stacked in the receiver room. We look at the running backs, Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon. That's a dual threat there. O-line, decent O-line. Maybe could use a little bit of help, but not bad. And then on the side of things, this is where I'm like, I'm a little bit on the Denver Broncos defense because I like them. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like people may be too high on them. So we look at the defense for the Denver Broncos. Pat Surtain, obviously at the corner spot. Ronald Darby also there. K'Wan Williams. Other than that, no one really to mention. Safeties, Kareem Jackson, Justin Simmons. Good safety duo there. Caden Stearns is a young guy behind Kareem Jackson that with some talent. Still got Bradley Chubb, Randy Gregory rushing the passer. But so if you're asking me, I think they could use a pass rush. Still need a little bit of help, in the cornerback, linebacker, really in the linebackers side of things. So I'm going to go ahead and switch over to the Seattle side of things, where we look at a team that lost essentially the guy that was their superstar. This guy was their everything, losing Russell Wilson. They now look to young guys like, I guess, DK Metcalf to take things over. Still with Bobby Wagner holding things down up there in Seattle. He's probably, not even guessing, he has to be their main leader right now. Up there in Seattle. Other than Bobby Wagner on defense, I don't even know what I'm talking about. Because Rogers didn't just correct me that Bobby Wagner went to the Rams. Bobby Wagner went to the Rams. That just showed you how overpowered the Rams and the Bucs are. I completely forgot that Bobby Wagner left the Seahawks. So with that being said, the Seattle Seahawks are going to be even worse than I thought that they were going to be. Because without Bobby Wagner, we go ahead and look at that defense. I mean, guys that stand out to me are, Jordan Brooks, obviously a good young linebacker, along with Uchenna and Wasu. But they just don't have the talent on defense to get it done. Jamal Adams still hanging out there in the safety spot, but nobody there to really help him out. If we look at the defense, the offense, they picked up Charles Cross in the offseason. In the draft, Charles Cross, a good pickup, a versatile guy for the O-line. DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett, still a good duo at receiver. But who are you going to have to throw him the ball? With Geno Smith being the starting quarterback, Drew Lock being the backup, not too many guys that are, looking like good guys to lead your offense. Not really an impressive O-line. We're able to get Noah Fant in the trade with Denver. So, exactly. Adams is all they have, really. it's going to be a bad year for Seattle. That's all I'm going to say. It's going to be a bad year for them. DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett will get their touches, but other than that, not too excited for them. They obviously are the underdogs here, sitting at plus 220. Broncos minus 270 for the money line. Spread sits at 6.5. I think you can feel confident in taking the Broncos spread here. Take the Broncos to cover 6.5. Win yourself some money, and thank me later, because Seattle they just they don't got it this year. Sorry, Seattle. You guys just don't got it. Well, with that being said, we have covered all the games for the NFL this week. I plan to be a little bit more prepared next week. We will talk about after the week 1 games. Maybe then we'll talk about, Super Bowl favorites and, really early futures. We'll talk about early futures. We'll talk a little bit about, maybe some of the bets that I put in personally. We'll talk about obviously recapping the NFL games from this week. We'll have to recap UFC 279 and look forward to the UFC events coming up. Obviously got to keep up on the Orioles, who are 3.5 games out of the wild card spot, fighting with the Blue Jays right now. A lot of stuff coming up for Zeb Media and In the Zone with Zeb. Like I said, this was only the first stream. Still had to, kind of get on here to test things out and, work out the kinks. Now that we got kind of the show going, we got the flow of things. Hopefully things will start to run a little bit smoother here in the upcoming weeks, and I'm sure they will. So for all you guys that stayed here till the end, I really appreciate it. It has been great hanging out with you guys. Like I said, I will be here every week, every Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern. Aim to make the show about an hour to 2 hours long every week, depending on how much stuff we have to get into. For you guys that are here from the beginning, it means the world to me. I can't wait to see this thing grow together. You guys obviously are the biggest part in that. So when you can, share this out, hit that like button, send it to your family, send it to your friends. I really appreciate it. I will see you guys next Wednesday on another edition of In the Zone with Zeb. Until then, I will be in Pittsburgh this weekend. Feel free to come hang out at Sideline Sports Bar in Pittsburgh tomorrow to watch the Buffalo Bills take on the Los Angeles Rams in the NFL kickoff game for the 2022 season. And anything else that I can think of, I want you guys to be safe. I want you guys to take care of yourself. And I want you guys to keep on coming back. So I am Zeb Media, with all of your breaking sports news, your sports gambling content, and everything sports. I hope you will join me next week, Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern on In the Zone with Zeb again. Thanks for hanging out this week, and I'll see you soon.